So there are things that we do in New Zealand that make perfect sense to us, but absolutely no sense to everybody else in the world. They're not written down, they're not taught in school, but somehow you just absorb them. Invisible rules, social blackmail, and quiet expectations that, if broken, you won't get arrested, but you will be judged harshly. So, here's my list. Let's count them down, shall we? So, here in New Zealand, riding shotgun is in a position of luxury. It's a bloody job. The moment the car hoons up to a rural gate, a silent transaction occurs. No words, no discussion. The driver slows down slightly, glances your way, gives you a small nod. Not aggressive, not rushed, just enough to say, you know what this means, mate. And you do. You undo your seatbelt, hop out, and you grab the gate. And you wave your mate through like an underpaid traffic worker. And then you close it again. Properly, you make sure it's latched. And you jog back to the car, slightly muddy, slightly puffed, and mildly inconvenienced. This rule exists throughout the entire country. It doesn't matter if it's raining sideways. It doesn't matter if you're a guest, or a cousin, or someone's missus. If you ride shotgun, it means that you get the gate. Here in New Zealand, shoes are usually outdoor equipment, and they don't belong inside. Most of us are raised in shoes-off households, usually for practical reasons, mostly because kids will walk through anything, and things that probably shouldn't be brought into your living room lounge. So the rule forms early. Shoes come off at the door, sometimes neatly, sometimes kicked insanely in different directions, sometimes socks even come off with them. But over time, it becomes more than just hygiene, it becomes manners. Taking your shoes off at the door says, I respect this place. You step inside, clock the pile of shoes by the door, pause, and then automatically start unlacing. And even if the host says, nah, you're all good, you do it anyway. Because deep down you know that's a test, and you are not all good, so take them off. And on the topic of feet, here in New Zealand, shoes are optional. Sometimes ceremonial and often forgotten entirely. This is largely because we live in a country where almost nothing is trying to kill us. Sometimes. No snakes, no scorpions, no spiders lurking around with medical degrees, no mysterious jungle creatures wanting to take a little nibble of your giblets. So we walk around in bare feet, and we love it. Barefoot at the beach makes sense. Barefoot on the grass is pretty grounding. Barefoot down at the dairy, perfectly fine. Barefoot down at your local shopping centre? Yeah, I'll allow it. And yet, no one batters an eye. You'll see kids with blackened soles, adults with hardened feet like geological features, and at least one bloke who hasn't owned a pair of shoes since 2009. Our feet adapted to concrete, to gravel, to the occasional bit of broken shell that gets between your tootsies. It isn't rebellion. And when you're in an environment that poses little to no threat, who cares about shoes or safety? Or your life. It's convenience, man. If you get invited to a stir, you never ever turn up empty-handed. You're not a guest. You're a participant in the journey that you're about to have tonight. You bring beers, or food, or something useful, like chicks. Something that clearly says, I understand what's going on here, and I understand the ecosystem. What you do not do is arrive with pre-cooked sizzlers, a bag of Eater ready salted chips, and a box of double browns. Then immediately beeline to the gourmet beef patties and the Canadian clubs in the fridge, like you've earned them. Because you haven't. And this behaviour goes noticed, quietly, forever. Because a proper contribution doesn't have to be fancy. It just has to be honest. Decent sausages, solid beers, something proportional to the amount that you plan to devour that night. Because there's an invisible exchange rate at every barbecue, and everyone knows when it's been violated. Your role's simple. Turn up, chip in, and don't be a dick. So here in New Zealand, the dairy isn't just a shop, sometimes survival, man. Because in many places, the main supermarket is miles away, sometimes an hour. And sometimes it's just emotionally unreachable, which means if you run out of milk for your Milo, or suddenly develop the urge for chalky biscuits, you're shit out of luck, unless there's a dairy, or a Foursquare. These little beacons of hope in a wasteland of unattainable snacks, They mean everything to small towns. They're where you get your bread, and your milk, and your pies, and your ice creams, your batteries, your dodgy phone charger, and possibly getting ripped off by someone who's worked at the counter for over 150 years. They sell everything you need at about 8 times the retail price, and we accept it without question. Because the dairy isn't about value, it's about accessibility. It's about accessing the convenience. It's about being able to walk for 5 minutes and come back with exactly everything that you needed, and more. But to outsiders, they don't understand this. Why don't you just go to the supermarket? I'm hungover. So here in New Zealand, the sound of a lawnmower on the weekend isn't just a vaguely annoying noise, it's a message. Usually heard on a Saturday or a Sunday morning. Too early to be polite and too late to ignore. That first start-up slices through the quiet neighbourhood like a pistol, and instantly something ancient activates. Because mowing the lawns here isn't just a chore, it's a social contract. Generational blackmail so ingrained into our personal psyche that one engine cough can ruin your entire day. Because that sound you're hearing says, I'm away, I'm productive, and I have nothing better to do than to make my section look better than everyone else's. Now, whether you like it or not, you're involved. Because you weren't planning to mow the lawns today. You were going to be lazy. You were just going to chill out, play Skyrim. But now, you're just laying there, staring at the ceiling and feeling judged by grass that no one else is going to see. Because you know that if one person starts, the rest will follow. Not immediately, because that will look kind of desperate. But within an hour, you'll hear another one fire up, and then another one, and then another one. A chain reaction caused by one inconsiderate neighbour. It's all about appearance and social pressure. Welcome to the weekend. So in my 39 years, one thing I've realised about us Kiwis is that we don't like to answer questions directly. We like to speak in riddles, through vibes, through phrases that no one else really understands. Made up languages, which technically mean stuff to us, but nothing to everyone else in the world. Ask a Kiwi a simple yes or no question, and you'll receive a response that requires interpretation. You reckon you can help me this weekend?
No.
That's not confusion, that's information. It means, I understand your question, I'm emotionally supportive of your idea, but absolutely not, mate. This is a classic example of a soft no wrapped in hesitation, a polite refusal, slowly reversing out of the conversation. We generally do this because being direct feels too aggressive. Saying no feels outright rude. Outsiders find this maddening because they hear optimism where there is none, and they hear uncertainty where there's commitment. To us, this system works perfectly, and if you don't understand them, maybe you might want to watch some of my other videos explaining New Zealand's culture, like this one here, or maybe this one here. And if you enjoy this video, maybe you want to give it a like down below, subscribe to my channel for other videos like this, or if you want to support what I do here, you can give me a super thanks or donate to my Buy Me a Coffee channel. Thanks for watching, be kind, be safe, I'll see you in the next one, eh?